My name is Robert Thomas and I work for JRC, and one of my duties is also to coordinate the Inspire Community Forum. First question, how many of you know Inspire Community Forum, which was called before thematic clusters? Great. Oh. So there's nothing to explain. So, so basically this is a forum to share. So those perfect two examples that we have been presented, I think this is exactly the place to go, to publish the results, to post some questions, to seek the reactions from the communities. I think this is the main purpose why we set it up 5 years ago, actually, already. We have over 1,000 registered users. The current forum, so we call it now forum, community forum, is completely free. You don't need to register if you don't want to actively participate. You just go there, you try to find what you are interested in, you read it, maybe you take some contacts, then later on, if you want to be more active, you register. It's a simple registration. It's a EU ECAS, formal ECAS, so it's the common registration mechanism for the European Union, and it's very simple. And then you will have a possibility to create a discussion topic, to reply, to provide the documents and presentations of your results, etc., etc. So basically, you don't need to register, but we encourage you to register because then you really can actively participate. But also then you can set up the notification schema for you that, for instance, you want to follow a specific topic. So therefore, you assign to it, and then you will be notified about any update of the topic, of the discussion, of the whatever you register to. Okay. So we have updated the structure of the forum. We have added 2 cross-cutting domains there. One dealing with the software and tools, and the other one dealing with the environmental policy, environmental domain, because this is a main driver for Inspire development in Europe, because it's a part of environmental acquis. So despite it is a horizontal SDI directive, it belongs to the environment mainly. Okay, and of course we have the thematic domains, and there are 9 thematic domains. For each of them we have a facilitator, and those thematic domains are representing basically the Inspire data teams. So we aggregated 34 teams into 9 clusters, and they are now here under the, oops. That doesn't work? Okay. Then you can see it here. I will go there in a minute. So what I want to do now, I will just quickly show you the forum, how you can use it. And so, first of all, if you go to the discussion groups, you get the overview. This is very important because you can see each discussion group has a facilitator. And those people are sitting also in the audience here, and they are kind of responsible in a way that the discussions that are happening in those discussion groups are being closed, being managed. They facilitate. They are actively seeking for good projects, to share the results there, etc. So we have 9 facilitators there, and you can see here are the contacts and also a little description of each of the group. We also have let's say the formal liaison people from MIC. So the MIC is let's say the formal group, expert group at the European level, where each member state is represented. And so therefore sometimes we get some suggestion for changes in the legal and technical framework coming from the communities. So therefore the MIC-T liaison person then can push that request for change to the more formal group where we are meeting with the member states representatives. Okay. So this is the overview of contacts that I think it's important to know that it's here. Okay. It's very unpleasant without the mouse. Oh, yeah. That's perfect. Thank you. I'm sorry for this. I thought it would be working. Yeah. Okay. So this is the overview of the facilitators and the groups. What we also have done now for users, how you can find something that is of your interest. So the best way is from the main page. So you go to the main page and then you go to the search by search application. The whole content is classified by the control vocabulary. So there is a list of 50 plus control tags that the facilitators are managing and making sure that any content that is published there has the right tag there. So therefore, then the user can use those tags to really quickly get to the information he or she is interested in. You know, it's a new concept that we introduced with this update. So for here you can see the list of tags, the control tags, and also the number of items that are currently in the system. Okay, so let's say I'm interested in doesn't matter, big data topic. Okay, so you click and you get immediately to all the discussion, etc., related to that. Okay, so you click and you can read the thread of the discussion, etc. Yeah. Can you look at it? So then another entrance. So and then you can combine those things. No, I mean that's very detailed. You don't need to use only one. You can combine. So I want to know the use cases of the team natural hazard, for instance, and you get the appropriate information there. So this is one aspect. The other aspect is that we have grouped also the content by 3 virtual categories. As I said at the base, software tools, domains, etc. So if you select one, like for instance from here, you will see immediately all the discussions and the information that we have for that. And you can see that whether the discussion has been closed, whether it's open, how many views, how many replies, etc., etc. So I think it should be user-friendly like this. It was more difficult in the previous version, so we tried to really take the user perspective and we updated the user interface and the functionality. Okay, so I think I will finish here with the presentation. What I wanted to do really is to present the facilitators here, and maybe they might say some words. So I will start with Anya. So Anya is a facilitator of the topographic and cadastre discussion group or cluster. She's from Germany, from the BGR. Yeah. The mapping agent, the Federal Mapping Agency, and she will tell you a few words.
You can use this like a mic.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks for the introduction, Rohit. So my name is Anja Hofstock, and I'm the head of the German SDI Coordination Office. But formerly, I was very much involved in European and global projects dealing with data integration. So I was also working on the data specification for hydrography. So, and I got the task to manage the domain for topographic and cadastral reference data. This cluster or domain is dealing with mostly Annex 1 themes, everything that is topographic reference data. But one theme is buildings, and that belongs to Annex 3. So, and there's a lot of activities going on with buildings right now with the implementation. So what I'm looking for, there's also recent discussion on transportation network. So with air transportation and also railway and road. So there are some questions regarding the implementation and how to use the data model and how to implement data. It is not my task to answer these questions, so please don't keep this in mind. And if you are having some issues or questions, please put it up into the forum so that others can take it up and share their experience in this area. So, and what I'm really looking for, and I have tried to find examples, is implementation examples for Annex 1. Annex 1 data should be there since November 2017. So there should be some use cases or implementations. Thank you.
Thank you, Anja. Okay, then let's continue with Jordi. Seeing you there.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. So I'm Jordi Escriu. I'm facilitating the thematic cluster on elevation and northern Majority, coordinate reference systems and geographical grids, which is a task that I'm continuing since the starting of the INSPIRE Thematic Cluster activity, and now I'm also facilitating this new cross-thematic or cross-aspect cluster regarding the software and tools, let's say the technical cluster. So regarding the first one, the elevation or to majoring grids, we are mostly dealing with how to implement this raster data as INSPIRE coverages, which we are dealing an interesting discussion on that, and we in fact have a workshop at 3:30 in this room besides. So if you are interested in it, we will be really happy to come with you, and also to continue the discussion in the cluster. Regarding the second one, which is most important now because it's a new thing, is the software and tools. This is a cluster that is foreseen to cover generic cross-theme discussions which are dealing with technical aspects of the implementation of INSPIRE, and also covering, for example, questions or about the different applications that are in the market in order to implement INSPIRE for different things. For example, metadata creation, transformation of data, publication, validation, etc. So we will be trying to point out all these software tools that are available in the market, and I want to also make a call here to developers and also the managers of the software companies to put here information or maybe also collaborate in the discussions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jordi. Angel, can you?
No, I don't think I don't need.
No, for recording. For the recording.
As for the recording. Okay.
You will be famous.
Okay, this is good. My name is Angel Lopez. During the data specification process, I was acting as facilitator at GRC for the utilities and facilities clusters. I was acting as facilitator in the INSPIRE Thematic Forum, but now recently I moved in the ECMWF, that is the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecast. So I'm closely related with communities related with atmosphere and marine. So we decided to swap the teams with Keiran, which will introduce himself later. So in this new phase of the community forum, I will be acting as the facilitator for this. So as it's stated on the title, it's a community and it's a forum, so we should be all involved, because otherwise there is no community, there is no forum. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angel. Katie, Kenna?
Okay, you will find my cluster?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, for anybody who doesn't know me, I am Kati Schleit. I've been facilitating the Environmental Monitoring Facilities Cluster and also the wider observations and measurements topic. So I've been involved there since the onset, since we did all the data specifications, and it pertains to anything where you add some measured information to a spatial feature. It's partially a bit also overlapping with what Angel just brought, that a lot of meteorological and oceanographic data actually also falls back on the observations and measurements model, which is then in here. Yeah, there are all sorts of interesting examples here, information here. Basically, if you have questions, first look to see there's a good chance that whatever you need is there anyway. If not, please, as Angel said, we need people in the forum to make it live and be a forum. Ask questions and you might even get an answer.
Thank you, Katie. Well, Miroslav, okay. Taking the standing ones. Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Mirosław Migacz. I work at Statistics Poland, and I'm responsible for the cluster that hopefully will be shown on the screen in just a second. It's the Statistics and Health cluster. It comprises 3 themes: statistical units, population distribution, and human health and safety. You might know population distribution from being a not exactly easy to implement model and only slightly usable. I have some piece of good news for you. With Eurostat and JRC, we have been working recently on a new way to report population distribution data, which is by using the SDMX standard that the statistical offices use to report to Eurostat. We have posted on the clusters a paper about it. I think this is the most important thing that's going on in the community right now. So anybody interested in that, I recommend to go to the community forum and have a look. And we are very much interested in your opinions on this matter and any other questions regarding all the themes. Also, you can on the cluster you can also find examples that already have been implemented in terms of INSPIRE. For example, a population grid map for Europe. If you have any questions, suggestions, or anything related, just come to the cluster and ask. Thank you.
Thank you. Lena, please.
Thank you. So I'm Lena Halim-Pihlatie, and I'm working for the National Land Survey. And previously I worked at the Finnish Environment Institute, and I have a long background working with land cover and land use data, and it's also the group that I'm a facilitator of, the land cover and land use cluster, that is. And well, I would actually at this point want to remind you that if you have joined my group or any of the other groups earlier on, please remember to do it again, because as part of this new launch or the new system, you have to follow new tags and remember to go on to the groups again in order to be really 100% sure to get the information on the discussions going on. So if you have been on board for several years, please revisit and check that you really are a member of the groups that you want to follow. But what's there? What might be really useful for you are some GML files, for example, the group files there, a bit hidden on the right. You scroll them on the right side.
Sorry,
some group files, GML examples from planned land use and from existing land use, and also some examples of how to implement Corinne land cover using the land cover vector application schema. So they might be of use if you're in the land cover and land use domains. Some SLD files, and this is a good place to do bug reporting on things if you find mistakes in the application schemas. We are collecting issues from here, as Robert said, and we can pass them further on. There has already been some proposals for change to the technical guidelines. There's also a group pages. No one brought that forward earlier on, so I have, for example, some examples of WMS and WFS services on one of the pages. These services provide already harmonized data sets, so that might be of use to you as well. But please go on board again and do re-register kind of for the activity. That was all from my side.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Lena. Who else? Dudo? Amelia? Sorry.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name's Amelia Bapty and I look after the Earth Science Community Forum, in my opinion obviously the most exciting community forum that we have. In my day job I work for the British Geological Survey, which is the UK Geological Survey. I don't necessarily look after this just kind of on my own. As the BGS, we are part of the European Geological Surveys group, which is a group of 42 geological surveys who kind of work together in collaboration on projects, doing projects together and thinking about how we make data available. As part of the Euro Surveys, we have a spatial information expert group, and it's kind of, I look after this cluster, this community, with the kind of the hat of the spatial information expert group kind of on. So that's who I'm kind of representing here. I think this works brilliantly, the communities work brilliantly, where we're kind of working on projects together and then sharing examples of where Inspire works really well, where it hasn't worked for people, where people want changes. I then work with my MIGT liaison, Carlo Cipolloni, who's sitting in the audience. I don't know if you want to wave, Carlo. I know people have been making people do that during this conference. So we would work together to then push any changes that were required back to the JRC or the European Commission. It's been quite quiet. We've had geology is probably our kind of busiest cluster in terms of discussions. As geological surveys, we work with a lot of this data. So we work with soil, we work with geology, we work with energy resources, mineral resources, and natural risk zones. So it was great to hear your talk yesterday and your talk today. I think you mentioned yesterday that there were things missing from the data standards. You wanted to make changes to the schema, to the registry. So as Robert kind of mentioned earlier, it'd be great to get that discussion on here and kind of start more discussions with the community on kind of natural risk zones and anything else that you might be interested in. Okay, I think that's it from me.
Okay, thank you very much. And Karen, I think you are the last, so.
Thanks, Robert. Hi, I'm Kieran Millard, and I currently look after the Facilities, Utilities and Public Services cluster. Prior to that, I was facilitator of the Ocean and Atmosphere cluster, and as Angel said, we've swapped over our roles, largely because this is part of the evolution that's actually sort of like happened since we've been running with Inspire. In fact, it hit me today, actually, that when I first started with Inspire, some of the people writing apps hadn't actually been born yet. So it's it's quite a long gestation period. But the fact that things are evolving means that we're actually responding to that. In my day job, I work for British Standards, and in that area, I'm working a lot in areas like decentralized energy, smart cities, and also sort of like smart assets. So working with the ISO, IEC and IEEE communities doing that sort of work made it was logical for me and Angel to swap to look at how things are being implemented in those areas.
Okay, thank you very much, Karen.
that was it. One facilitator is not with us because she was not able to make it. So Stefania Morone, she's looking after the environmental cluster there, the area management and biodiversity. So she's not with us for this conference. So what I would like to finish with is, as you can see, it's really a knowledge base. It's a kind of a knowledge base that we are building here, the knowledge base for implementers, for users, and it's really, once again, we encourage you to use it, and otherwise it doesn't make any sense. So please, if there is any question to me or to the facilitators. Yeah?
I was just wondering, you encouraged software providers and tool providers and developers to join in the discussion. Do you see any risk of getting a lot of marketing material inside there?
Okay.
Is that a risk or is that a good thing? I mean,
can we put marketing material?
Well, that's why we have facilitators, and they should be judging whether it's a promotional thing or whether it's really a substance to contribute to the discussion from the technological point of view.
for the time being, there are more issues.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Another aspect with the developers and the software solution providers, they usually have their own user platforms where they are sharing issues and future functionalities. So we don't want to duplicate here. What we are looking at is if there is something consolidated that as a functional product or as a feature, that should be put here just to say, look, that feature has been taken care of here. So we don't want to duplicate things. So we are going to put a lot of. So for instance, the alternative encoding activity, the client support. There are GitHub online communities where a lot of detailed things are being debated. What we would have here, we would have again the link to the GitHub. That's first, and the second, if there is something remarkable already achieved, that should be also promoted here. So that's the kind of idea here. I haven't mentioned that, and I have it here. So for each of the discussion, you can also immediately access GeoPortal with the data that are linked to that cluster. Okay. So if a user wants to see, and where is it? So you just click on this little icon and you get to the GeoPortal with the filter of the team that you select. So that's one. The other icon is it goes to the Inspire website where you have the legal framework, the technical guidelines. So all this material that we have been creating for 12 years now or even more, all this is there. So you have everything available like this. Okay, with this I would finish. Oh, sorry, please.
Is this a place to ask general questions? For example, I'm thinking if I'm totally new to Inspire, is this a place where I can ask why do we need Inspire? What is it? Yeah, very general.
Yeah, basically yes. We would of course first encourage you to look at what is there a little bit before you ask questions, so that you really try to find yourself. But then if it's not there, you can ask. We encouraging also to sharing not perfect solution, because we have encountered that there is a fear, because it's kind of a European Commission activity. So there is a fear in the community really to expose the solution. They are not sure whether it's okay, whether it's Inspire compliant, etc. So we are really encouraging for unperfect solution, unperfect answers, questions. Sorry. So please, yeah, there is no limitation.
Some of the comments on the thematic cluster are more or less requests for change. Is there something planned, I don't know, every 2 years or something like this, to take them into account, to make some cleaning?
Yeah, there were 2 rounds of kind of a collection for the request for changes to the legal and technical framework. One was, I think, 3 years ago. And really, all the corrigendum that was published is based on the results that were published here. Of course, it takes long, to change the legal framework in Europe. As you can imagine, it really takes long. So actually, those changes, they are just now being endorsed in the legal update. We are still not yet there, but we publish already the corrigendum to the technical guidelines. So this is already there since I think 2 years. So yes, the answer is yes. It makes sense to put the question for the change. It will take some time. And then always we are looking at whether it's a request from one person, one organization, or whether it's really a kind of a common feature that is missing, or there is a common bug, etc., etc. So it's important aspect of the forum. Great, thank you very much for your attention.